Hi again, guys, and welcome to another installment of Beards and Cars. And as you can hear, I'm not exactly right yet as far as my voice goes, but I'm going to try and put out a couple of videos still before we get back into the full rhythm of things, hopefully by next week. Now, I wanted to discuss a couple of maybe off-topic things in this video, things which aren't necessarily directly related to my normal videos. One of them is the It movie. Kind of a quick overall thoughts, not really a full-on review, but kind of a review at the same time. I saw it yesterday on opening night here in the UK, and I think I'm definitely gonna see it again tonight, the day of releasing this video, of course, and I'm considering going this time in makeup. I'm not sure if I'll actually do that, but I would really like to, like white face, do the full clown thing. I love creeping people out. So I might do that. I do plan to go and see it again either way. But as far as the movie goes, and some of you guys might not know that I actually do movie reviews on my second channel, Sledgehammer Movies, and I will be doing a full in-depth review for this movie within probably the next week or so. So if you want to check that out, I've also reviewed the original, the 1990 miniseries as well. So if that interests you or other movies in general, check out that on that channel. But as far as my initial thoughts, obviously I've had basically a day to process it. Saw it last night, packed cinema, sitting really near to the front, which wasn't ideal, but it actually wasn't too bad because it wasn't too close to the screen either. But I loved it. I went into this movie hoping to love it, of course, but at the same time, I didn't know how it would compare to Tim Curry's Pennywise, who I think was fantastic. I know that the movie itself, the TV miniseries, which is a two-parter, around 3 hours in total, it divides opinions. Some people really love it, some people like half of it, tends to be the first half, some people don't like it. I'm in the camp of loving the whole thing. It's one of my favourite horror movies. I do consider it one movie, and I love all of it. It's one of my highest reviewed movies on my second channel, in fact. A lot of people disagree with that. I put it on par with movies such as Oldboy, for instance, which I gave a similar kind of score. A lot of people would never put it in that same camp, but of course it's just down to personal preference. As far as the clown goes, Bill Skarsgård, he's amazing as Pennywise. He's not doing a Tim Curry impression, that was what I was worried about. And for those who are familiar with the original Pennywise, or in other words, if you've heard me online doing my stupid voices on Gran Turismo, you've probably heard me do the Pennywise voice. Hi, Georgie, what you gonna say, hello? That kind of smoker's clown, if you will. It sounds like he's been dragging on a cigar before he delivers his lines, which from some of the behind the scenes photos, it looks like he was smoking quite a bit, so that's not too surprising. This newer one, he goes in a more kind of funhouse, traditional clown kind of voice, which is higher pitched, a little bit goofy sounding. He's got these buck teeth, and it gives him a little bit of like a lisp. In the trailers, his voice reminded me a little bit of Sid the Sloth from Ice Age, which I didn't think was necessarily a bad thing, because it can work. And it did work really well in the film. I didn't really notice the lisp in the film as much as in the trailer, though. So that was interesting, but his voice was really cool. The voice is a huge part of what makes Pennywise so good, so quotable, such a popular pop culture monster, even though the movie itself isn't necessarily considered in as much high regard as like Alien or The Thing or various others. But I loved it. The movie is 2.25 hours long. The original equivalent to this, which is, for those who don't know, divided into two parts. The first half of the story is when they're all children being terrorised by the clown. The second part is when they're grown up. And in the original, it's two parts. They're about an hour and a half each. In this one, the first one, where they're kids, is 2.25 hours. So if the second one, which is coming, I don't believe it's been cast yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to that when they're adults. That one is probably going to be a similar kind of time, maybe even a bit longer, so maybe 2.25, 2:20, maybe even 2.5 hours. So it could end up being a lot longer. Well, it will definitely end up being a lot longer than the original, probably more like 4 or 4.5 hours instead of the 3 hours of the original, which doesn't necessarily make it the most rewatchable of movies, but still. is pretty cool. Now, I don't want to get into it too much, of course, because I'm going to save that for my in-depth breakdown and review with all of my scores as well, for the visuals, the soundtrack, all that kind of stuff. But suffice it to say, if you're a horror fan, which I am, if you're a fan of monsters specifically, you will love this film. If you're a fan of the book, if you're a fan of the miniseries, I do need to give myself a bit of time to process this one when comparing it to the miniseries, because the miniseries has such a special place for me. Not because it scared me as a kid, I actually didn't see it as a kid. I saw it for the first time when I was probably 20 or so, maybe 19, so it didn't have that fear factor. But I just really enjoyed it. I love the camaraderie between the kids, I love the way the story takes its time, I love Tim Curry as Pennywise, I love everything about that one, basically. This one, I do definitely think I'm going to love more. But when I watch a movie, I have to give myself a few days, sometimes even a few weeks, for it to become maybe one of my favourites, or especially in this case, when there's already an original to go on, because many of my favourite horror films don't have predecessors. Something like The Babadook, which is my second favourite horror movie ever, is not based on an existing movie. It's an original, so of course I like it, because there's nothing to compare it to. With John Carpenter's The Thing, which is my favourite movie of all time. There was an original from the 50s, and there was the book before that, the novella, but it's nothing like either of those, so it kind of became the new standard. With this one, there is something to compare it to, and it's not that old, it's from 1990, so with that still fresh in mind, I'm going to have to give it a bit of time to really feel the connection that I want to have. Obviously, I've seen the mini-series more than this one, because I've only seen this one once so far, so as I see it again today, I have no doubt I'll see it again next week. I do expect to love it more. That happened in January as well of this year when I watched Split, with James McAvoy playing the multiple personalities. I knew that I would love that movie because I'm a big Shyamalan fan anyway. Signs is one of my favourite movies. But again, I watched it, I liked it, I watched it a second time, I loved it, and then over the weeks, it became my favourite movie of the year. Now, I think Split is probably still going to be my favourite movie of the year so far, but I would say that it, currently anyway, and it may change after seeing it again a couple of times, but I think it currently might be my second favourite of the year. Because, again, Split didn't have anything to compare it to, so it had that more original feel. Whereas something like Logan, for instance, which I also love, or John Wick 2, they're great, but you do have things to compare them to, whereas with something like Split, it just came out of nowhere, and it was great, I loved it. So overall, as I said, if you are a horror fan, if you love Pennywise, that kind of pop culture scary clown thing, definitely check it out. If you've already watched this one, maybe you live in the States, I think it came out in the States a little bit earlier, but I'm not certain on that. If you've already watched it, and maybe if you watched the miniseries as well, if you haven't watched the miniseries, I would recommend checking it out for comparison. But if you have seen them both, and you're craving more clown content, there's a movie from Eli Roth, he didn't direct it, but he presented it, which I would definitely recommend you check out, called Clown. That is another excellent clown horror movie, and he's actually fairly similar to Pennywise in some ways. It's about a dad who is trying to be a clown for his son's birthday party. He finds an old clown costume, a costume which incidentally looks very much like Pennywise now, puts it on, but then when he puts it on, he can't take it off, and it starts to turn him into an evil clown. It's not campy, it might sound it, but it really isn't. It's very intense, very cool. So if you love Pennywise, you should definitely check out that movie as well. The monster in that one's called the Cloyne. It's like a legend clown that's been around for many years, and it's like a curse thing. So that's very cool. Definitely check that one out. But yeah, I'd recommend it wholeheartedly. Check out it. It's very cool. If you like being scared, it depends what kind of appetite for horror you have. The movie made me jump a number of times, but that's the thing about horror. It's not difficult to make someone jump. Just make a loud banging noise and you can make anyone jump. That doesn't make them scared, which is why I really don't like jump scares, because they don't make me scared, they make me angry. So that's why I love movies like The Babadook, which doesn't really need jump scares. It's more about that creepy, ever-building atmosphere. And this movie has both. It has the atmosphere, in spades, but also jump scares. But the jump scares feel justified in this one, because at the end of the day, that's what Pennywise is all about. So I loved it. There's some very creepy imagery. The fear factor goes way beyond the trailers, which was really cool, because sometimes you think, well, have they showed the best stuff in the trailer? No, definitely not. You don't need to worry about that. But apart from Pennywise and It, as I said, check out my other channel to keep up with my review of that one. I'm going to break it down, give it some scores, see how I compare it to the original. But the second point to discuss is regarding the channel. And as you guys will be able to see, we are around 9,600 subs now, only 400 away-ish from 10k, 5 digits, finally. And as I said a while back, I do plan to do a giveaway at the 10k mark. Now, I'm not sure exactly how many things I'm going to give away, because obviously, even though I'm registered as a business, I don't just get given funds to send stuff out. So I can't just send out hundreds of games, because I simply can't afford to do that. So I'm not sure how many things I'm going to give away, because obviously last time, well, actually, to go back a little bit, the first giveaway I did, which I can't remember what that was for, it might have been 2,000 or 3,000 subs, I gave away some rare car brochures, and that, thankfully, the winning one was sent to London, so the pricing wasn't too bad, but that was worldwide, and some of the winners were from like Australia or Africa. That costs a lot more. Even when you're sending something light, it costs a lot more. So the second one I did, I think that was for 5k, yeah, it was for 5k, it was just the UK, as many of you guys will remember. I know a lot of people were disappointed, I totally understand that. For the 10k mark, I want to go worldwide, but the payoff of that is I probably will have to give away less things, because I simply can't afford to send out a ridiculous amount all over the world. So I've got a huge amount of games and movies to give away. The movies are more so for my second channel, but I've got PS4 games, PS3 games, PS2, PS1, Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One. I think I've even got a PC game in there. I've got a couple of PSP games, I think. So there's tons of stuff to give away. But I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do for the competition yet. I've kept the competitions fairly simple in the past. I haven't really, you don't have to like answer a quiz or impress me with something. It's not about that. It's a milestone, not a competition as such. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's a giveaway. It's not a competition. It's a giveaway. But in previous iterations, basically all I've done is I've said go over and check out the Facebook page, and then put something like comment on a post that I'll put like, hey, this is the giveaway, and then just type like count me in or something like that. That's what we've done before. This time I think I might do something a little bit different. I'm not sure exactly yet, but I might use the opportunity to try and make better use of my connected social media more, because I use each form of social media like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page, here on YouTube, the second channel. I use them all for very specific different things. So here on YouTube, obviously, we have the bulk of the content. On Facebook, though, it's totally different, because for those of you who don't know, and many of you guys do know, but for those who don't, on Facebook, on normal weeks, each Sunday, or sometimes Monday, I put out teasers for the coming week. So in other words, if you go and check out the Facebook page and follow that, you can literally figure out ahead of time, based on little clues, what most of the videos for the week are going to be, the reviews. And I know some of you guys enjoy doing that already. Many, the vast majority, of course, aren't on the Facebook page. And I don't just use it for that, I use it for the competitions, I use it for giving out information, I use it for teasers of things that are coming on the channel. Such as when I started doing Gran Turismo 2 videos, I leaked that on there ahead of time. So if you want to know stuff ahead of time, before the people on YouTube know it, then check that out over there. As far as stuff like Instagram and Twitter, my Instagram, all of this stuff, by the way, is linked in the description of every video, so you can find all of my handles there. But on Instagram, that's more so like my personal side of things. That's where I put all of my artwork. That's where I just put like this, that and the other. Some stuff relating to the channel, but it's more It's a little bit like Beards and Cars, actually. It's like a middle ground between the two. Some stuff about the channel, some stuff not about the channel. Bit of both. So check that out if you fancy that. And also the Twitter, which again is down in the description. But I use Twitter as kind of an in-between with Facebook and Instagram, kind of somewhere in between there. I occasionally use it to announce things. I will often use my Twitter to release teasers for my second channel, like new movie reviews, that kind of stuff. And also, if you want to talk to me directly, Twitter is a much better way to do that than Facebook, because I don't get on the Facebook page as much unless I'm making an announcement. Whereas on Twitter, it's more informal. If you want to tag me in a comment and have a discussion or ask me something, that's the place to do it. So again, Twitter has its own purpose. And also Twitter is where I interact with other creators, commenting on other channels, so if you want to follow that kind of stuff. So overall, I might do something involving like just follow each of those pages or put a comment on each of those pages, linking you together between them all, and then pick what game you want to win. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick to one game per person or more. I'm not sure about that yet, because obviously I've got a ton of games, and if somebody picks a game and it's not available, they'll have to pick something else. I do have some duplicates, and for those who are maybe wondering, I am going to do a video showing all of the games. I've showed some before. I showed you guys that huge box full of them. I've actually got, just having a look here, I've got four boxes full of games to give away. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff. As I said, I'm not sure how many I'm going to give away, how many winners we're going to have. It's not going to be ridiculous. Obviously, I'm not going to give away like 10,000 things or anything like that. But I'm going to try and make it good. As far as beyond that, well, obviously 10k is like, it's not the first milestone. I would say that the first significant milestone for a channel is probably 1,000 subscribers. That's a big milestone. Then you've got ones like 2, 3, 4, 5,000, which are significant, but they don't necessarily have the same significance. It's more like every time you reach a new significant tier, if you will. Not necessarily adding another 0 every time, but obviously those tend to be the most important. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, that kind of stuff. That's the obvious ones that people celebrate. You get the YouTube plaques, the silver, the gold, the diamond, all that kind of stuff. The red diamond, in the case of PewDiePie. But, yeah, I guess the next milestone after 10k, because I'm not planning to do giveaways at every 1,000, because that just doesn't work out. Especially when stuff like the Gran Turismo Sport Beta was released, because when stuff like that comes out, I jumped up from like 5,000 to basically 7,500 or 8,000 subs in 1 month. So it's just not feasible to do like 3 giveaways in 1 month, because I simply can't afford to do that. YouTube doesn't make an insane amount of money. Some people think it does, but it just doesn't work like that. You've got all of these people, and I have touched on this before, saying about PewDiePie, for instance, oh, he's a millionaire. He might well be a millionaire, but he's no way near as rich as people think he is. This number of $7 for every 1,000 views gets thrown around a lot. But most of the people who tend to throw around that number tend to be newspapers who don't have a clue how YouTube works. They hear a number and they just repeat it like a parrot. The reality is, it's not even close to that. Not for me, at least. I don't know about for other creators, but a lot of creators that have much larger channels don't even make the bulk of their money from views. Once you get big enough, like Philip DeFranco, for instance, he said recently that, or relatively recently, that he makes more money from merch than he does from YouTube views. Because once you get to that size, or like Rhett and Link or PewDiePie, you start getting other opportunities which go way beyond just video clicks. You start getting stuff like people who want you to appear on their channel, people who want you in an advert on TV, people who want to use you for voiceover work. I've done voiceover work in the past. It's something I really enjoy. I would love to do more of it, and I hope to. I would love to voice a character in a game, for instance. And many of you guys who have played with me online on Gran Turismo know that I love doing silly voices and impressions and characters and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you start getting more opportunities when you're a bigger channel. When you're a smaller channel, it just doesn't work like that. And this is still a small channel, of course it is. And I wanted to address something as well for those who are maybe newer to the channel or didn't see it in the other Beards and Cars episode. I think I might have touched on this before, and this is probably the final point of the video, I think. But some people have mentioned on the channel the occasional comment. It's not chronic or anything like that, but you get the occasional person saying, oh, I like the content, but you should consider maybe not doing Gran Turismo 6 stuff, or don't do this, or don't do that, don't do special projects, because the channel just isn't getting the views that it should be for 10,000 subs, essentially. Because although I have close to 10,000 subs, most of my videos for Gran Turismo 6, for instance, only get around maybe 400 to 600 views over the course of a couple of weeks, and then after that, the increase gets much slower. That's totally true, but the thing which most people don't understand is, I am not trying to make videos with loads of views. I'm pretty sure I have discussed this before, but I'm not trying to make videos that go viral. I'm not trying to get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views with every video. Not that I wouldn't like that, but that's not the goal. The thing is, I have well over 2,800 videos. I put out over 800 videos every year. That is far more than many channels which have over 1 million subscribers. So the production that I put out means that even if each one of those 2,800 videos only got one view every day, that would be 2,800 views a day, because there are just so many. I call it the raindrop effect, because most people expect their video to be like a bucket of water dropping to the floor in terms of views. It just doesn't work like that. A viral video does, whereas with mine isn't a bucket of water being poured on someone. Mine is like a rainstorm. Only tiny droplets, but there are so many tiny droplets all over the place that it builds up quick. And that is definitely the case on the channel, because my channel's views compared to the size of the subscriber base is massive. If you compare my channel in terms of how many views I have in total, which is over 3.4 million, compared to the subs, which is 10,000 or close enough, you compare that to a channel with like 100,000 subs and then compare their views, I actually have a better ratio. I have more views than they do in comparison to the amount of subscribers. So although it may not appear that I'm doing amazingly well in terms of how many of my subscribers actually watch the videos, you also have to think of the fact that of all the people who are following this channel, most people follow me for different reasons. I do so many different games that there's no way of telling what person joined the channel from what subscriber base. Maybe they joined because they like Forza content. Maybe they joined because they like Gran Turismo content. Who knows? But obviously they're not going to watch everything. They're going to stick to what they wanted to see, which is often why the Gran Turismo Sport videos get way more views, because not only is it the current in thing, but those people who join to see that are going to watch everything they can for that, which is yet another reason why October is going to be such a big month for this channel, because I'm doing both Forza 7 and Gran Turismo Sport. Forza 7 right at the start of the month, Gran Turismo Sport about halfway through the month. It's going to be crazy for roughly the next, well, October, November and December. So yeah, as I said, I want to get back into the swing of doing videos as of today, basically, and hopefully my voice holds out to do loads of Forza tunes next week. As I said, I'm trying to get as many of those out as possible before October, so then that frees up my schedule more to focus on Forza 7 and Gran Turismo Sport. For those who may be worried, and again, I've mentioned this before, but I want to reassure you because I'm still seeing comments about it, I'm not stopping Gran Turismo 6, not even when Gran Turismo Sport comes out, because there are still people who want to play it. Even if the videos only get 300, 400, 500 views, I will still keep doing it. I'm not going to do it forever, but I will still keep doing it. I may continue doing it until maybe January of next year. I'm not going to say for definite, but that could be a natural end point. Going into 2018, we're going to have Gran Turismo Sport running strong, Forza 7 running strong, Forza Horizon 3. I'll still be doing Gran Turismo 2 content at that point. So who knows, maybe I'll still do GT6. Of course, I'm just going to keep doing GT6 basically until I run out of content. So actually, yeah, it probably will be around January. I've easily got another 3 months worth of content. There are series which I haven't even started yet for Gran Turismo 6, big significant ones, so you don't need to worry about that. So that's basically it. As I said, you can check out my second channel for more movie reviews, but I'll see you guys around. See you later on for another Gran Turismo Sport review, and obviously the photo mode competition tomorrow, and that's about it. So as always, thanks for watching.